Welcome, everybody, to 50/50 Booking. I'm Coffee, and this is Fortnite. We have been renamed by WWE Creative.
I have worse nicknames.
Yeah. At least you're not called Birch.
Who's watching and peeing anywhere in here?
Yeah, so as you're all as you've probably all worked out by now, not too enamoured with that. So, but we will touch upon it when we get there, because oh boy, we're going to get there. Obviously, best of wishes go out to Big E. That sucked.
Yeah.
Bruce.
I mean, it depends. It was just bad. Like I saw when the match was actually happening, and I watched it. I was like, "Oh crap!" I rewound it just to see how bad it was, and I played it back in a little bit of slow mo, and I was like, "Oh, that's a break."
Yeah, I mean, we will cover the match when we get to SmackDown, but it was worth mentioning. Unfortunately, he doesn't need surgery, but it still hurt. It hurt like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, the only good thing you can say about this was WWE was quick to get medical out there and get him on a stretcher and get him out of the arena. They didn't let him stand up.
And that's probably what's helped him right there.
Yeah, and they ended that match as soon as they could to get him out of there as soon as they could to get him seen to.
Yeah. Which is good because it's definitely helped him. Obviously, he's going to be out for a while, but it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
But what we have discovered is that Ridge Holland shouldn't be suplexing people.
Especially not on the outside.
Yeah, until you learn how to do that safely, don't do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, the way that the match ended so soon, it was good that Pete Dunne actually used his head and kind of drove the camera attention away from where Big E was. So I don't think that was actually scripted. Them having to pull him off Kofi Kingston. That was
no, that was definitely improvised.
Yeah,
for that exact reason.
And it was good as well. It was good thinking on his feet.
Well, you're talking about someone who's got experience there doing something which an experienced person will know to do.
Mm-hmm. I feel kind of sorry for Kofi Kingston as well now because he's kind of alone because Woods is still out and now he is as well.
SOS.
It's going to be a while since we have a New Day all under one roof.
Yes, it is. Sorry, I have to do those jokes while I can.
Sorry. Down.
But yeah, that is bad. So, but yeah, the fact that he's the only one that's not injured is terrible.
Yeah. If he ends up being in a match with Ridge Holland next week, well, he might not be out. He might not be on his own for a while.
Well, you'll be fine as long as you don't let him suplex him.
Yeah. I can imagine the reception that Ridge Holland's going to get next week.
Yeah. This is why you don't call up people before they're ready, in all honesty.
I mean, I was surprised that Ridge came up before Pete Dunne did. I'm not calling him Butch. Butch is stupid. And to be honest, I don't think that Pete Dunne's very happy with that name either.
Well, I think the look on his face kind of gave that away.
Yeah, you don't see him. You don't see his lip tremble often, and when it does, that's when he's very angry.
Yeah, bear in mind that was the reaction we saw when he got told that probably earlier in the day. I imagine there was a different reaction then too, and it probably involved rude words you couldn't say on the air.
Yeah. So I can imagine him asking for his release soon.
Yeah, well, they didn't give Ali one.
No. And there's there's been a few signs around as well on the outskirts of some of the live events saying free Ali on them, and they've not been allowed to take them into the
they've been taking them off people.
arenas. Yeah. I heard that the record so far is 6 signs, and that was confiscated at Madison Square Gardens.
Well, it's not the worst thing happened there, is it?
No.
We'll touch upon that as well.
Yeah. Anyway, should we get started on the Raw side of things?
Yes, we should. So, just wanted to get out of the way what I was doing while we were talking as well, so I could give my full conversation. So, yeah, the first thing obviously we will do is Raw, because that's just how it works as far as days of the week go, because Raw is Monday. Although it's technically Tuesday morning for all of us in the UK, but
so Stream Elements letting you do your own thing now with your like pop-ups and stuff, or no?
No, I've not had the time to fix that shit. So,
yeah, fair enough.
So honestly, I've been that busy this week with stuff. I mean, literally half an hour before we went on air, I got somebody call me up to book a wedding. I say, yeah. And this is the day it's usually least busy. But I've done a photo shoot today. And I've done I've done admin stuff for the tax year today. And I've also then obviously done the wedding. And then, of course, sorted out all the info for this and obviously set it up as well. So, yeah, quite busy. And that's just today.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow I've got a meeting to sort out to prepare for a wedding I'm doing on Thursday. So, busy. Hi, Bruce.
Ow. Do you mind? Get off.
No, he clearly doesn't.
Get off my t-shirt, you prick.
But yeah, so we start Raw, and the funny part is we start Raw with probably the only good thing that actually took place on this show.
Yeah, we had Rollins and Kevin Owens start off the show saying the decks had constantly been stacked against them, and that they couldn't be happier that they were heading to WrestleMania. And then they showed a recap of the past 2 weeks, that they'd beaten RK Bro and that they'd beaten the Alpha Academy. Then Gable and Otis came out and said they'd beat RKO. Came out and said that they beat RK Bro and Rollins and Owens no problem. Then RK Bro had a behind the curtain segment, and Randy said their motive was win by any means necessary. And this match started off, and of course it was for the Raw Tag Team titles. It was RK Bro versus Alpha Academy versus Owens and Rollins. What was interesting about this match was we had explained to us that the rules were different to a normal tag match, triple threat. So the standard triple threat.
It's unusual for WWE because I don't like explaining rules generally.
Yeah, so like a standard triple threat tag match was 2 people in the ring and anybody could tag in at any given time.
Except that's not how that should be done.
Yeah,
and I hate it being done that way.
This was actually a proper triple threat tag match where 3 men were in the ring at a time and they could only tag their opposing partners.
I don't like the opposing partners tagging thing, but I prefer 3 people in at once.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier and a lot more interesting.
I think you should be able to tag anybody.
Yeah.
But 3 at once, not just 2.
Yeah. The weird thing about this was I noticed that Randy had a haircut and he was clean shaved.
Well,
normally
season, isn't it?
I mean, normally when he goes clean shaved, you can probably agree with me on this. This is when he turns heel.
Yeah, he tends to be much more prim and proper when he's a heel. So yeah, those are things
Yeah.
that. It could also be maybe he'd had a haircut and shaved to celebrate the release of 2K22.
I don't know. But like, I didn't think RK Bro was going to win this because of this. I thought RK Bro was going to be over. Like, I thought that was going to be the end of the tag team after they lost this, and we'd get Riddle versus Randy at Mania.
The one thing I was certain of was that Owens and Rollins weren't winning this match.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I was certain of for outside reasons.
I mean, this was a great match. Like,
yeah.
And with who was in it, like it was going to be hard not to be a great match, but they did it really well. And like
they would have to have been Ridge Holland for this to have not been a good match.
Yeah, I mean, a big well done to the Alpha Academy as well, because like putting over the teams the way that they did, like how Gable took the RKO from that moonsault was absolutely nuts. It was like Evan Bourne level, or Matt Sydal as we know him.
Yeah, that's the funny part. People spent years trying to recreate that, and you're not going to be able to because that was simply a one-off thing.
Yeah, this is probably as close as you get.
Doing it that way, yeah. But obviously, you've had the one where he countered Rollins from the stomp into it, which took place at Mania. That was a good one, and he did one to Rob Van Dam a while back, which was pretty decent too. But yeah, outside of those three, most of them are good, but they'll never be that good.
Yeah, I mean, can we just like for like a brief second, like kind of acknowledge Chad Gable in this bit as well, because leading up to the pin, he took four hits like in a row, and we're talking the RKO, the buckle bomb, the stunner, and the stomp, literally within 4 minutes of each other.
What I'd say to that as well is it's a great way to also protect him too.
Yeah.
Because it makes him look good as well.
Yeah.
So, and this is the thing. You can lose to a good person, to a good team, to a good opponent,
and
cleanly, and it will not matter.
No.
If you want to make somebody look really good, do this.
Yeah.
In this environment, because the rules allow for it in this kind of a match.
Mm-hmm. Also, after this match was over, Randy Orton grabbed the mic, and he finally said the F word and said that Riddle was his friend. Which it was a good moment, but I don't know how unnecessary it was, to be honest.
Heel turn.
Yeah. Then we had a really weird moment. It went from like really great to just cringe.
I would say, honestly, once that tag match finished, Norton did that promo, the show went fucking downhill. My personal opinion.
Yeah, because it started off with a progressive recap of the double kissing segment from last week in the 24/7 championship area.
And we all know what I thought about that, for sure.
Then we had a match between Dana Brooke and Tamina for the 24/7 championship announced. But before that happened, we had a segment that was a camera focusing on Kevin Owens, and he didn't say anything at all, just showed him there standing. This was just like confusing and pointless. So we knew he was devastated about the loss. We don't need to be reminded 5 minutes later.
Also, considering what happens later in the show, this was stupid.
Yeah. It looked like an accident is what it did. It looked like somebody in the back had accidentally pressed the wrong camera and it had gone to Kevin Owens just standing there waiting for his segment.
It probably was, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but then we went back to Dana and Reggie waiting in the ring. We saw a good luck kiss segment from the pair, and then went to Tamina and Tozawa, who came out together with Tamina using a new music as well. But also another pre-match segment from these two, and another good luck kiss, except Tamina grabbed Tozawa by the throat, kissed him, and threw him up against a metal grill. Yeah,
sorry,
this was silly and stupid. Then
what I would also point out is they're also kind of telling everyone here, Tamina likes to be rough with her partners.
Yeah.
That's not creepy at all. Also, way to make her look like she's a sex pest too.
Yeah, and Tozawa looked weak as fuck.
Don't really have an issue so much with that. It's more the fact that they made her look like a pervert.
Yeah.
Which,
then we actually,
to be fair, she could be, but don't put it on television because it doesn't need to be.
No. Then we actually got the match, and it was over before it began. And we had another silly, stupid Tamina and Tozawa segment that just didn't matter and didn't need to be done. Then we had a Rollins segment where he was furiously quiet, stood still stoically, and didn't say a word. I don't know what the play was here, but with a character like this, silence is definitely not deafening. It's just stupid.
Was it undeniable?
It was crap.
Sorry. For those of you unaware, Seth apparently is the chosen opponent if certain somebody actually does sign for Mania.
Yeah, I heard.
That's why I used the word undeniable, because that's what the words he's known by.
Yeah.
And WWE have dropped that word a lot. For those of you who are interested, there is no movement in that regard whatsoever.
Nope, none.
So, just to clarify that one for people. But yeah, I'm assuming it's such a holding pattern to find out what the fuck's going on. That's literally what I think that is.
Speaking about what the fucks, next we had a Miz TV with Logan Paul and special guest Jerry the King Lawler.
No. We know what the fuck went on here. It was fucking crap.
WWE was also clearly editing sound as well during this entire segment and actually most of the show.
Yeah.
And it was fucking obvious and it was shit.
In this segment particularly, yeah, because Logan Paul's a very divisive person to people. So,
I mean, Miz looked like he was like welcome, like here to make. They made it sound as though Miz was welcomed home, but Miz hasn't lived there for years.
We should point out that this was in Ohio, by the way. Then,
yeah, and because I could hear booing over it all, so it was just really bad. This whole segment sucked, apart from seeing Jerry Lawler, because it's always nice to see him.
Yeah, the funny part is if anyone out of those three would have got a good reaction from that crowd,
he got genuine cheers. That was the only one of them that got genuine cheers.
Yeah, because people in Ohio know that Lawler is a big. When it comes to Lawler sports teams, all of his teams are like Ohio teams.
Yeah, and
also the jersey as well. That's an Ohio sports team.
The only thing that kind of saved this was the fact that Miz turned on his own hometown, so they didn't need to continue editing the boos. They just let them fall through.
Yeah, that's Miz's experience right there. I don't think that was intended at all. I think Miz improvised that, and he was right to do so.
I mean, saying that winners leave Cleveland, and to be honest, Logan Paul looked shocked as well, as if he didn't know that was coming either. So it kind of made sense if he did improvise that. Well done.
Yeah, I think he's used his brain and gone with the reaction.
Yeah.
And so I will always credit Miz with that. Miz is not stupid.
No.
He's not the best of wrestlers, but he's not stupid.
No.
So
So then we had a Ciampa and Bron Breakker segment that was good, to be honest, and was hyping up NXT, so it was good for them, I guess. But then we had Dirty Dogs versus Ciampa and Bron Breakker.
Again.
Before that, we had a Gable Stevenson moment that was okay, which kind of gave a little bit of a nod to what's happened between, Seth and his non-existent WrestleMania moment at the moment.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
But then a Street Profits segment was good, and they claimed number one contender spots for the Raw Tag Team titles as they pinned RK Bro last week, which I don't have a problem with. If we see Profits versus RK Bro at Mania, I'm all for it.
Also, I don't have an issue with this either, simply because that argument at least makes sense. They beat the team who are now the champions.
Yeah.
Great. Good.
Just build up this over the next 3 weeks. Don't fucking put this match on this week. Because if this match happens this week, then who the fuck are they supposed to face at Mania?
You know what they're going to do, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Then we finally got the Dirty Dogs versus Bron Breakker and Ciampa again. We also got a Bron Breakker package to introduce everybody who hadn't heard of him before.
Despite the fact he's already appeared on Raw.
Yeah, I mean, it was good that they did this, but at the same time, it really wasn't.
Yeah, well, you know what it is. Vince took one look at him last time and went, "Oh my god."
This match was good, and it gave momentum to whatever team won. And this not only that it was the first look at Bron Breakker on the main brand, and he looked great, and he was received well too. And it was a strong win for Breakker and Ciampa.
You say it was a good thing for momentum and stuff, but it really wasn't. Considering what happens on NXT.
But then after the match, Ziggler grabbed the microphone and said he was going to be champion. He just needed one chance. Next, we had an Omos package for some reason that led to Omos on a Rampage pre-match promo segment. That led to Omos versus Apollo with Aziz ringside too. Omos started the match by saying after he was done with Apollo, Aziz was next. Apollo came out of the gate strong, but it didn't last long. Omos won. Aziz checked on Apollo after the match, and we had a brief stare down between the two giants, but then Omos just laughed at Aziz and walked away. I want to see this match. Because Aziz...
Because of how bad it's going to be, you mean?
Yeah, because Aziz, or as anybody else might know him, Bubba Tunde, can actually wrestle. And can actually fight. To see these two big guys actually go at it would be interesting. It might not be great.
But that's what I meant about by how bad it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because you rightly pointed out, Aziz can actually wrestle. He can actually fight. Omos, not so much.
No.
Also, the reason for the promo was clearly because there was an Omos match coming up right after it. So this actually at least made sense in that regard.
Yeah, but at the same time, we don't need an Omos package every time there's going to be a match. We know who he is.
I never said you needed it, but at least it makes sense.
Yeah.
And to be honest, making sense is the least you can expect from WWE at this point. I say least.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
Then we had a recap of the Edge and AJ Styles Mania segment from last week. I'm sticking to that. Mania segment actually works.
Yeah, go for it.
And we had an update on Styles that told us AJ had suffered a neck contusion. And then Edge came out to his normal music, but a completely different entrance layout, which was Weird.
For anyone wondering, AJ is fine. He just wanted a day off.
Yeah. In the weird thing about this, Edge's entrance was in full blue lighting. It was like an Undertaker thing, but it was Edge.
Yeah, it was Edge trying to be moody, and it looked like he was trying to, I don't know.
It was blue lighting in a blacked out area. It looked like somebody had visited a crime scene and set up all the blue lights to find out the blood spatter patterns and just left it like that.
That's the statistic view of that, in all honesty.
Yeah. And the weird part about this, Edge was wearing a suit and his head was tied back. He came out, made a promo starting with "You think you know me," and said he did what he did to unlock AJ's inner pitbull. And Edge said he's found his new self and he's in love with it. And he's in full control thanks to what he did last week. And he's on the mountain of omnipotence. And the view's phenomenal. This segment was good promo-wise, but the rest was shit. And I don't get it.
The problem is
phenomenal little jab, but
the content was okay, but the execution of this was shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the problem is the execution took away from it because of how bad it was.
Yes.
We was all more concerned about trying to find where the spunk stains were than listening to Edge talk about whatever the fuck he was talking about.
Yeah. Then we got another Kevin Owens segment, and Owens had an idea on how to get to Mania.
Oh, gee, I wonder what it is.
I wasn't stunned. But next we had Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley versus Carmella and Vega, and if they won, they were added to the Tag Championship WrestleMania match. This made no sense. Liv and Rhea had never tagged together before. Why are they getting this opportunity? I'm not mad that they got it. I'm not mad that it's going to be a triple threat at Mania between three teams, but this team somebody just coughed it up and decided, oh yeah, that'll do. Add them to Mania.
You know what I was saying earlier about making sense, WWE, that's the least they can do?
Yeah.
This was less than that.
But before the match actually started, we had a review/revisit at what happened at Madison Square Gardens between Brock Lesnar and Roman. Also, if anyone didn't know, Lesnar faced Theory at Madison Square Gardens, and Theory obviously lost.
Yeah, WWE were really douchey about that because they kept on putting it as TBA. They wouldn't say who it was. They kept swift shifting around the match, and eventually announced who it was, and it pissed people off. They were not happy.
Yeah, I can't imagine why. Probably thinking, oh yeah, it'll be like a one-off star, like somebody like maybe a Hall of Famer come back for one final match at the Garden.
Yeah, for those of you unaware, is occasionally retired stars or people who are in other places will work house shows because they're not on TV.
Yeah.
And they probably would be saying, like, because Jericho did it for a few years ago when he wasn't signed with anyone. He came in and did matches for WWE, but he only did house shows. He didn't appear on television at all.
No, I know.
So you can always have stuff like that happen. Or it could have been Cena.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Yeah. There's a few people it could have been. There's a whole bunch of Ring of Honor wrestlers who don't have jobs anymore who it could have been one of them. Even if it's just a one-off thing. Or Cain Velasquez. Why not? Oh, wait. No, I know why that can't be.
Naughty.
He's only accused, to be fair. He's not been found guilty of anything, so we'll let the courts decide that one. Not the internet.
Sure.
Well, I'm not letting the internet decide who's guilty and innocent things, because fuck the internet on that one. People aren't guilty of anything until they've been tried and convicted of shit, and that applies to any of that stuff. So the internet can fuck off in that regard.
Yeah.
The internet can fuck itself, and it can fuck Twitter as well, because Twitter's the biggest shit pile on all the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the reason I don't actually use Twitter. I just retweet and post stuff, and that's it. I'm off of it.
Yeah, it does work out easier that way, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. So, but getting back to the original thing, yeah, Theory was the opponent. It kind of rolls into SmackDowns to what actually happened as well, so we'll actually touch upon it then as well. So
yeah, probably best.
So yeah, so probably leave that there and then come back to it when we start SmackDown, because that's more relevant at that point. But obviously, what follows on from this is a Theory match, so it makes sense that at least this was here.
Mm-hmm.
But why the result of this match happened the way it did,
yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, for those of you unaware, Finn Balor faced Austin Theory.
I don't know why this happened.
Again. As far as the match goes.
I mean, especially with Balor being champion now. But then what happened during the match kind of tells you everything you need to know as to what booking-wise WWE are looking at. For the foreseeable future, anyway. And if it sounds as though I'm distracted, and I'm not distracted, I just don't care.
Yeah. Basically, Balor wins by DQ. It's the best thing you can say about this.
I don't even know if you could call it the best thing.
Well, it's the best thing because it's the most concise and it means it's over with. That's why it's the best thing.
Yeah, I suppose. For those of you who might be interested, we found out. Sorry, hang on. Like, this was actually like a good match, about to be over, and Priest screwed over Balor, attacked Balor, left him laying, and then afterwards Austin Theory hit him with an ATL and took selfies. That's basically the summary of the match.
Yeah.
Yeah. This wasn't great.
No. Anyhow. We next go on to
well, we had a recap of Belair and Lynch with the hair whip moment that happened last week. It was kind of like an interview of Bianca Belair. It was all right. Then we had Kevin Owens' Path to Mania segment. I mean, I was interested to say the least, and then he said he wants to do a KO show with a lowlife from Texas, and I was just like, oh, great. Who's the one texting everybody you'd love to see at WrestleMania?
Shawn
he listed off like a few Hall of Famers.
JBL.
Kevin said he wants to do a KO show with a lowlife from Texas. Said he didn't want JBL and not want Booker T, and not want Shawn Michaels either. He said he wanted the shell of his former self in Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the crowd went kind of ballistic, but that might have just been edited in. Like the graphics of the KO show came up afterwards with the question, would Austin turn up? And then the show just ended. No main event, no nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, Austin did reply to this.
Yeah, he did accept.
Yeah, he released a video.
Wasn't one of the best videos ever, but it was a video nonetheless.
To be honest, this is what this fucking thing deserves. This has clearly not been planned. It's last minute, which is why I think there's a good chance Austin doesn't actually fucking wrestle. I just think it's a bit.
Probably.
Because I think if Austin was going to wrestle, and this is my opinion here, you need to give him at least 6 months to prepare for this.
Unless he has been preparing in the past 6 months, in which case he will be ready.
Do you really think WWE would actually give somebody that much notice for anything?
Well, I heard a rumor last year that Austin wanted to be featured in a Mania, and if he was that serious, knowing Austin, he'd probably been preparing over the last few months.
No, Austin's very much not wanting to get back in the ring. For the exact reason. Basically, one of the things he cites is Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels.
Well, think about it. Austin went out. Austin's last match was against The Rock, so it was at the very top, right? Cool. Shawn Michaels' very last match was losing to The Undertaker in the career thing, right? Then he came back at Saudi Arabia, and it was fucking dreadful. And that is something that worried Austin as well, apparently, as well as also his physical well-being. Because Austin needs prep time if he's going to even consider something like this. He's in fairly good shape anyway, because that's just the way he is. But wrestling shape and being in good shape are two very different things.
No, yeah, I understand what you mean.
So I don't see it being a thing. I can see him turn up and stunning him or something.
Yeah.
I mean, if he ends up having a match, then as long as it's safe for us to do so, then great. But it doesn't seem likely.
No, it doesn't.
There is more chance of Stardust turning up and facing Seth Rollins in a match.
Oof.
You guys can wait for that one, what you like. So, but anyway, that would be Raw, which means Aaron has to give us a score.
Do I have to?
Kind of one of the things you do here. So yeah, you kind of do. Just so you're aware, that pounding you keep doing is quite loud through the speakers.
Sorry.
Oh, I don't mind. It's just more the case of it's just so you're aware that's what's going on. Because if it's that loud for me, then it's quite loud for the people listening. So.
Yeah, I was just using the clicker on my keypad because I was just doing something on the side.
No worries. It's why I use a mouse most of the time when I'm doing stuff like this, because you can't hear it. If I use the trackpad, you can hear me clicking like that. So.
Yeah.
But it can't be helped, and I'm not really that bothered. It's more the people's ears I'm concerned with. So anyway, score, boy, score.
I gave it 2.
For me, that's too many, but fair enough. I'm assuming it's for the triple threat tag match.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the only thing that deserves any sort of score.
What are you sniffing at, dog?
Don't ask a dog that. You probably won't like the answer. Anyhow, that does bring us to NXT 2.0.
Yeah, sure. Or as we like to call it, bleh.
Yeah, it's the bleh show. This was the Roadblock show, apparently.
And even though this wasn't a pay-per-view, I'm judging it as a pay-per-view because it had its own name.
Yeah, as you should do, like when they do Vengeance and all that sort of palaver, yeah.
Yeah. So NXT Roadblock.
Yeah.
Started off with Gonzalez and Jade versus Kai and Chu. Semi-final of the Dusty Cup. A good match. Toxic Attraction were present in the Toxic Lounge again at the start of the match, but then shortly after the match started, Gigi and Dolan had disappeared.
Can you guess who I wanted to win this match?
Yeah. Later on, they opened an attack on Gonzalez with a lead pipe. Pretty much ended the night for Gonzalez and almost made it a 2-on-1 match. When Gonzalez got back in it, it didn't last long, and Gonzalez got the loss.
Yeah, which...
And Kai and Chu won, advancing into the finals.
Yeah, for those of you unaware, I like Wendy Chu. She makes me smile.
Yeah. When Gonzalez, after this Ciampa segment, was good and passionate as well. Then we had a Tiffany Stratton. I can't even say segment really. It was just a moment, and she was being shadowed by Sarai.
A bit. Let's call it a bit.
Yeah. Then Diamond Mines Creed brothers were found attacked and left laying in the car park. Just left us asking more questions, which didn't make much sense.
It was Wendy Chu.
Yeah, totally. Then we had Fallon Menley versus Tiffany Stratton. A good showing from Fallon, an upset win as well, thanks to a drop kick and distraction from Sarai on Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah.
This made sense story building wise, but at the same time,
The problem is it doesn't really do anything for Henley, really, because this is like going to be a one-off for her, and that's it.
Yeah. As far as we know, anyway. But
the way WWE do shit, yeah, that's pretty much what it's going to be. As you point out, this is pretty much going to be another step in the Soraya Stratton thing.
Yeah. Then we had a Chase University segment, which was really good. It was quite funny as well. Then Carmelo Hayes in a barbershop again, making his match for Stand and Deliver, as you do, because there's no general manager in NXT anymore.
Yeah. Where's he gone, I wonder?
So we got told that it was going to be a fatal 5-way ladder match for the North American title at Stand and Deliver, the most stupidly named show of the year.
It's not the first time they've done an NXT show called that either.
I know, the last one was last year and we made fun out of it for weeks. I didn't think they'd bring it back, but you know.
Well, you know why they brought it back, don't you?
Because it stood and delivered?
Because it was their money or their life.
So,
manners, Bruce, manners.
Next, we had Lashing Out with Lash Legend special guest Nikita Lyons, and Legend went after Nikita's parents and Nikita herself, and got a reaction. This was good. We'll probably see Nikita Lyons versus Lash Legend next week at some point, or maybe the week after.
I'm curious as to why they did this on this show.
I don't know. It
The
could have waited until next week.
Right, that's my point. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's weird it's on a special show like this.
Yeah. Unless they've got like a 4-week plan leading up to Stand and Deliver that's going to take the full 4 weeks, but I don't see WWE thinking that way.
I was going to say plan? Really?
Yeah. So after this, we had an Imperium segment, which was okay. They denied attacking the Creeds, but Eichner looked like he had a graze above his right eye, to be honest. Then MSK said if the Creeds can't go, they'll take the rematch for their titles. And later on in the show, it was made official. We had MSK versus Imperium for the tag team titles scheduled.
Oh, wonderful.
Then we had Briggs and Jensen and Fallon and Legado in a segment, which was good, but Legado said it wasn't them either who jumped the Creeds. This was just like, oh, who jumped him? Who jumped him? It was like Aleister Black in the car park again.
Do you mean it's Johnny Gargano?
Yeah. No, Aleister Black was in the car park. Johnny Gargano jumped him. So next we had LA Knight versus Waller. Last man standing. It was chaotic as to be expected. This was Waller's falling from a height, but was rescued by Sanga, his bodyguard. And then Sanga was handcuffed to the ring post, and these handcuffs were props because the cameras zoomed in on the wrists and they had the safety catch on them.
Yeah.
Good job, WWE, with your camera angles.
Yeah, not the talent's fault. This is to do with how it was filmed.
Yeah. Waller won by half a second because of Sanga helping him to his feet. Then Braun Breaker had a segment which was good and quite passionate. Io Shirai.
Hang on, before you scoot away from the last man standing match. I like the fact that's how Waller won. Because if he's going to win, have him win that way.
Sure.
If somebody's to help him, somebody helps him get up. Because he shouldn't be winning well on his own.
Yeah.
And it's also in character for Waller to be like a bit schmuggy about it too. So he'll probably be schmuggy next time we see him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Then we had a Braun Breaker segment, which was good, quite passionate. Didn't have a problem with it. Then we had Io Shirai and KLR versus Catanzaro and Carter, the Dusty Cup semi-final match. That's what we was told we was getting, but then we got a Tony D'Angelo segment, which was pretty good, mob themed as always, and then a Toxic Lounge bit that only held Mandy again, and the guards had been beaten up and taken out and replaced by Inofi and Blade. At least this was kind of in character for them. But the match between Io Shirai, KLR versus Catanzaro and Carter, it was very fast paced and pretty heavy hitting match. It was really good. And Io and KLR won. The only problem I have with this is that this was probably the best match of the night.
Yeah. And there's the other issue with this as well. Well, it's not really an issue so much. It's just going to be a bit weird to see. It now means the final is Shu and Kai against Shirai and Ray.
And notice how neither of these teams were made before the cup even started.
Yeah, kind of my point.
It's ridiculous. And way to use your tag division, guys.
I mean, not being funny, the only one of these 4 teams that actually was a team before they started was Catanzaro and Carter.
And Indy, Hartwheel, and Peralta.
Out of these 4. The 4 in these matches.
Yeah, I suppose.
Right. But if you talk about the whole Dusty Cup, then yes. you would include Indy and Peralta as well.
Yeah, I mean, at least Gonzalez and Jade had like a kind of build up to their tag partnership as well. I'll say that much. These two just haven't.
Well, no, you're right. There was an actual story that led to this. But yeah.
Yeah, these two, there's been very little build up. I'd say out of the 2 teams, probably EO and KLR have the best build up out of the 2, but that's not saying much.
It's not. The only reason I don't mind the Kai and Chu one so much is because I like
Chu's in it, yeah.
Yeah. But that's very much a biased opinion. If you want to be completely like unbiased because the fact Chu's in it, yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. So after that, this led to Mandy getting jumped by Cora Jade, who was furious about Gonzalez being shelved by the rest of Toxic Attraction. At least it made sense. But yeah, Blade and Idris really didn't do the job of the bounce as much. All very well, to be honest.
Well, no, because if the person they're supposed to be looking after gets attacked, that kind of means you suck at your job.
Yeah. Then Indy, Hartwell, and Persia Peralta had a segment, and they've basically challenged each other to a match because Peralta said that she was carrying the team, and she seems to be fueled by Duke Hudson at the moment. And this just seems to be like getting really annoying, and it's broken up the tag team from the looks of things too.
Well, we kind of knew this was where this was going, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So
the stupid thing about this is just it makes no sense. And where's Dexter Loomis gone in all this situation? Like he's just not been around.
I think he's turned up once during this going on, but that's it.
Yeah, and then he left, and he hasn't been since. It's been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So then we had a Tiffany Stratton segment, and she said that next week she'll break Sarai's face. So we're getting that match next week, apparently. Then we had MSK versus Imperium for the NXT Tag Team Championships because the Creeds got jumped earlier on in the show, as we said. Barrett accused MSK of jumping the Creeds, and Joseph defended them. However, only time will tell. But the Creeds came out during the match, injured or not, and laid everyone out, which caused a disqualification to the match, and we still don't know who jumped them.
Do you know what's weird about this, right? They came out and laid out everybody, yeah?
Even though they were beaten to a pulp outside.
Yeah. That's one thing. The second thing that's weird about this, you lay out everybody by attacking everybody. Do you know what the result of the match is officially listed as?
No contest?
No, it's a DQ victory for Imperium.
Okay, that's surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of makes sense, but at the same time it doesn't, because they hit MSK first.
That's kind of my point.
Yeah.
This is why I check these things, because to find out what they actually officially list them as. Because we've had fun with this before when they've like no contest when it's actually DQs and no contest when it should have been DQs and stuff. So yeah, that's why I check these things.
Yeah, see, this was a DQ, but this was a DQ in MSK's favour.
Yeah.
But it wasn't listed that way.
No, not by WWE anyway. So yeah.
So after this, I can't even really call it a match. Shit show?
Shit show works.
We had a Draco Anthony and Quinn and Gacy and Harland segment, which was good. Harland and Gacy approached Draco Anthony while he was doing his workout and wanted him to side with them and try and team up, I guess. And Quinn kind of saw what was going on and told Gacy to get lost and for Draco to be his own person, run it straight, as he might say. It was good. And we might get a tag match out of this.
Okay.
Then we had a surprise. We had an A-Kid promo package. He's coming to NXT USA.
Well, considering what happened on NXT UK, I'm not that surprised.
What surprised me more was that they announced it on the Tuesday, knowing that NXT UK was on the Thursday. So we didn't know what happened yet. And it kind of spoiled what happened because we kind of knew he was going to lose.
Unfortunately, that only matters to the people who watch NXT UK, which is a much lower number than watch everything else.
Yeah. This promo pack from A-Kid cut to a segment by Jacket Time, and Kushida watched his video, and he thinks he's better than A-Kid. I'd like to see him prove it. I mean, A-Kid versus Kushida would be a really good match.
Yeah, let's have that. Yeah.
There's a technical classic, to say the least.
Yeah, let's have that. This definitely would have been better some of the shit that was on this show.
Yeah. Speaking of shit, we had Ziggler versus Ciampa versus Breakker next for the NXT title. Well, and I don't want to talk about this match, so I'm just going to come right out of it. Ziggler won, got the pin on Ciampa. I don't know why this happened, and to be honest, I'm not mad about it, but at the same time, Ziggler with the NXT title just makes my skin crawl.
Let's put it this way. Let's put this in the right context. It was actually Bron Breakker versus Tommaso Ciampa versus Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, because Roode spent as much time in this fucking match as everyone else did.
Yeah.
So.
As advertised, I guess. Especially after the match on Monday.
There's so many things you say about this. And I think the most worrying thing for a lot of people is the reason why Ziggler may have won this belt is because Breakker may be going up to one of the other shows because Vince saw him.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Unless they're looking to make him a 2-time champion this early, which doubtful.
Yeah. Also, Ciampa's been working a lot of dark matches for the other two shows.
Wouldn't surprise me if they went up as a tag team. That's the only way I can see Ciampa and Breakker working.
I think it would help. I think it would particularly help Ciampa because Ciampa can't hold up to a full-time schedule on his own.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's the only way I can see Ciampa actually ever getting onto the main roster full-time.
Yeah. And it may
it's probably not what he wants, but it's what will be offered.
But I think it would also help Breakker, honestly, if he's brought up with somebody like Ciampa for that reason.
Yeah, it's the experience factor of Ciampa.
Right, because Breakker's so inexperienced. Because unlike a lot of the people who go through NXT, Breakker had virtually no experience before coming into
the Performance Center.
Yeah.
He did outside training with his dad, but apart from that, nothing.
Which, not being funny, training with his dad pretty much makes up for having no experience. Let's be perfectly blunt here.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who don't know who his dad is, Google it. You should know.
Or just look at his move showcase. That should tell you all you need to know.
His wrestling attire is also a bit of a giveaway too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's quite a few giveaways as to who his dad is if you don't know. But yeah, that's basically it. Really, so that's NXT's Roadblock, and I have one very big complaint about the entire show. Can you guess what it is?
No.
Too many bits.
Yes. Yeah. But I literally just looked at my notes and I was like, yeah.
It's one thing if it's a normal show, you can probably get away with it. But if it's a special show like this was, way too many. Because you're trying to make it look like a big deal, and you'll literally break up everything by having these bits. You could have got away probably half of them, and you would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because you can spread them out amongst the, next week. Again, I think you're right about what the best match on this show was, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with that being NXT 2.0, you now have to give us a rating. Sorry.
4.
Yeah, it was definitely better than Raw. I'll give you that. That, of course, leads us to NXT UK.
Yeah.
Which the first match of which is Charlie Dempsey against A-Kid.
Well, what started off the show was like a Heritage Cup promo package, which was good. About the match that we get for the main event. But yeah, Charlie Dempsey versus A-Kid. No De Familia ringside for Charlie Dempsey. And this was actually a good technical match, as you'd expect. But Dempsey won with a hand from Rohan Raja.
Yeah.
Because the referee was keeping Dempsey inside the ring, and Raja pushed A-Kid face first into the ring post. Dempsey brought him back in and then put him in the modified bow and arrow stretch, and he actually linked his hands on this as well. And
which is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, but
most people don't, though, bear that in mind.
No, most people don't because of how painful it is already. But when they link the hands, it's just that extra bit of, oh yeah, this is gonna hurt.
Yeah,
and
it's the
tapped out pretty quick.
Exactly, it's the case of this is what you don't want me linking my hands.
Yeah. We then had a recap of the Dawn and Satomura situation. Then an Aaliyah James and Stevie Turner segment, which was okay, but we got nothing from it. Then we had Danny Jones and Josh Morrell versus Symbiosis. I was interested to see if Wild Boar would return after this, and then Symbiosis were victorious, but it was a fought hard victory, to say the least. And then, as they were celebrating, Wild Boar came out and laid all three out with a steel chair. His ex-teammates didn't seem... were a bit shocked to see him. And not going to lie, Boar looked in great shape.
Well, when you've been off for a while, it does help, because it gives you time to do that.
So yeah, big thumbs up about the Wild Boar return. It was done properly and it was done well.
Yeah.
Then we had Nina Samuel's show, which was funny because Amelia McKenzie basically told her where to go, told her to shut up. Then we had Mustache Mountain and Smith and Carter in a segment which was heated, and we're getting 2 singles matches out of this. Leading up to WrestleMania week, apparently. in the form of Bate versus Carter next week, and then the week after Seven versus Smith.
Those matches sound dreadful. They're going to be horrible to watch.
Didn't think you could say that with a straight face. But Bate versus Carter being next week, and Seven versus Smith being the following week. Apparently, if either Smith or Carter lose, they don't get their rematch for the tag titles. So we know which way this match is going to go, probably. Yeah, they basically said in this segment that they wanted Smith and Carter to earn their rematch. So I don't have a problem with that, but at the same time, if you've made the said, oh yeah, you can have, especially being a face team as well.
Yeah, it's one thing for a heel team to do that. I get that, but yeah, face team shouldn't be doing that shit.
No. So next we had the main event, which was Noam Dar versus Joe Coffey for the Heritage Cup in a traditional British Rounds Rules match. And I was looking forward to this. We hadn't seen Joe Coffey in a rounds match before, and it'd be interesting because obviously his brothers had experience being Mark Coffey, so it'd be interesting to see what Mark had tutelaged.
Yeah.
So round one we had no fall, but Joe Coffey had the momentum. He was really wrestling different, and I know that it sounds a bit tacky, but he wasn't wrestling his normal way, if you know what I mean.
Well, I think that's the thing about these Heritage Cup matches. You have to be very careful how you wrestle them, because if you wrestle a lot of time the way you'd normally wrestle, you are going to get found out, or you're going to get caught.
He was a lot more preserved.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that he could wrestle like this. So it was good to see a different side of him. And to be honest, with this match, I'd be happy to see a rematch.
I wouldn't be surprised if it happened at some point, because this ended up being very close.
Yeah, just throw both the knobs out from ringside. I'm not saying that they're knobs in general. I'm just saying the characters are a bit of a knob.
Yeah, just let these two just do their thing and not have anyone else around. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck the cheerleaders. Go away. Just let them do their own thing.
Did you just go back to high school? Fuck the cheerleaders.
No. But
just checking.
So round one we had no fall, but Coffey had the momentum. Round two, Coffey got first fall with a Glasgow send off. Round three, Noam Dar got a fall with the face shots and a deep roll up. The face shots were actually with his foot as well, so they were backward heel kicks to the face. And then round four, there was no fall, but a cheap shot to the liver by Noam Dar when they tried to break him up. And then round five, Dar started off fast, but Coffey's resilience was on full show. But Dar was saved by Samuels putting his foot on the bottom rope, which led to an over roller kick and got Dar the win. And Joe survived Coffey. Not won, in my opinion. He survived.
Or sometimes surviving is what you need to do for a thing. So,
yeah, I mean, this wasn't bad.
Oh yeah, it could have been much, much worse. I agree.
Yeah, I'd like to see this. I'd like to see this again. But as I say, leave the cheerleaders at home.
Yeah.
Now I've got the image of Mark Coffey in a pink tutu and Charles Samuels in a pink tutu. Nah.
That's your fault for calling them cheerleaders right now.
Okay. So NXT UK was okay this week. I would say a 6 out of 10. Wasn't overly great.
I think that's fair. But I'd say it's probably the best show so far.
In which case I might change it to a 7. There wasn't any wow factors, and there wasn't a a match that I just gawked at and was just like, yes, this is awesome. So I'd say 7.
Yeah, that's the thing though. But there was not anything damaging in it on that show, which is an important thing WWE shows, because normally there's something they fuck up.
No, this was like it was a safe week.
Yeah, but still,
Then also,
I'd argue that still makes it better than the other 3 shows that took place.
yeah.
But we'll have to see about that obviously once we get to SmackDown.
Yeah, but first we had NXT Level Up.
Oh yes, Aaron's going to try and do his 30 seconds review.
I don't think I'm going to be able to do a 30-second review, but I'll give it my best.
Okay, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, and go.
So we had Trick Williams versus Guru Raj. Mello on commentary was annoying. Williams won with a slam dunk. Apparently, that's the name of his new finisher. Brooklyn Barrow versus Ivy Nile. Barlow's debut, and it was good, but the standing inverted S-Script Dragon Sleeper handed Barlow a loss. Josh Briggs and Jensen versus Grizzled Young Veterans. A hot distraction in the audience got GYB the win. Then Val and Henley distracted GYB, and Briggs and Jensen jumped them.
That's the 30.
I actually paused because I didn't realise there was another line of notes.
So I know. Yeah, it's why. I actually, because you went slightly over, but I counted for the pause. So yeah, you did it in 30.
Sweet. I gave this a 9 out of 10. To be honest.
Yeah, it was good. It did what you'd want from this show.
I mean, this is completely ridiculous. The best bit of fucking television that WWE can do is a 30-minute show that has 3 matches in it.
And it's hidden in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
This is literally the same thing they usually do with NXT UK as well. Both shows generally are quite good, and they hide them in the worst place to fucking find anything.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate to shout, I hate to like dump another load on here, but main event has actually been pretty good as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the main event is surprisingly usually quite good.
I mean, if you skip past the main event recaps from either Raw or SmackDown and actually watch the matches that are on the show, this is good.
Yeah, just cut out you said it. Just cut out all the crap they put in there, which is recaps and all that shit, and have the matches. Yeah. It's basically a main event version of Level Up.
Yeah. That is pretty much it. The only thing I gave this a 9 out of 10 for was because Barlow losing her debut and being put up against Ivy Nile.
Yeah.
If you're going to do this, get a jobber. Don't have a brand new talent.
Yeah, or somebody where it's not going to matter. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't trip up on Ivy Nile's submission move as well.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Because it doesn't actually have a name yet.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. Some wrestlers do that. They don't name their moves immediately.
Yeah, so I have to go with what it actually is, and it's the standing inverted S-Script Dragon Sleeper.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I just said it again without stuttering. So I'm actually pretty chuffed. But at the same time, try saying that 5 times first.
Go on then.
No.
And that's the answer I expected.
I swear, every week there's that one move that wants to trip me up on the 30 seconds. Yeah. I mean, this move, it was the standing inverted S-Script Dragon Sleeper. I did it again. Let me see. We had the springboard corkscrew plunger splash.
Yeah. That's another fun one to say 5 times fast.
Yeah. And no, the first one didn't. The first week didn't, but the past 2 weeks have. Yeah. So yeah, it's just been the past 2 weeks they've done it to me.
Yeah.
It was actually interesting to see Trick Williams in a singles match as well. It's the first time I've seen him in a singles match.
Yeah, he should probably do more of those rather than just hanging around,
in Melo's pocket.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Trick to turn on Melo or Melo to turn on Trick.
Well, this is another reason why I think this is why they should do more singles matches for Trick, because when that happens, you kind of need him to actually have done stuff.
I mean, in all fairness, it adds an element of surprise to the main roster. Like when it does happen, is it actually there's going to be people that question whether or not Trick can wrestle, and from what we saw this week on Level Up, he can.
But bear in mind, like we said before, Level Up is a show which most people don't even know where to find it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, even if he's doing matches on Level Up, the majority of the people who'd watch NXT on like a main cable channel, which is what it's on, wouldn't know to go and find Level Up.
Yeah, I suppose.
So, but I get your point. However, despite the fact you've been putting it off, we do have to talk about SmackDown.
Bollocks.
I see through your ruse, young man.
Okay, well, we started with a recap of what happened in the Square Garden.
I will do that part so you don't have to do it, okay?
Yeah, right. This actually had the majority of the Madison Square Garden's footage in it as well, so it was actually okay.
That was the only good part about that. But the only real highlight to this, which really needs repeating, is the fact that Lesnar chased Heyman around Madison Square Garden after he got attacked by Reigns. That's pretty much it.
I mean, yeah, the actual show kicked off with Brock Lesnar. And he really didn't seem happy at all, being as Roman had left him with a scar on his face. He had stitches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roman had changed the rules because Roman drew first blood, apparently. He said he didn't care about WWE contracts, didn't care about titles, and threw his out of the ring. He wanted his blood, and Heyman came out and said Roman wasn't there. Lesnar said, well, then who's here to save you? And then dropped his microphone, got out the ring, and Heyman ran for the fucking hills.
As you should have done.
Yeah. It was kind of funny because Heyman kind of dropped 2 skin tones before he turned and ran.
Yeah.
Luckily, he had a car waiting, but it was close. Lesnar ran through a whole bunch of security and actually pushed one almost through a table.
Yeah. What this reminded me of, I think, is actually Lesnar's doing an impression of Goldberg from 1998.
Yeah, I've seen that footage. I'm surprised WWE haven't done an Instagram post who did it better, Goldberg or Lesnar.
They probably don't realise it's been done before, and they probably think it's a new idea.
Probably. It's probably Pritchard bringing it out of his ass.
Yeah. Or Johnny Ace.
So next we had Ridge Holland and Sheamus in the segment, which was okay. And they said they was looking forward to a proper fight night and that they had brought a new friend with them, someone called Butch. And Butch turned out to be Pete Dunne in a ridiculous looking hat, and apparently is another protege of Sheamus. This was shit. Like, you've already introduced Pete Dunne on the main roster as Pete Dunne. He fought Enzo Amore as the UK champion on, like, the main stage of Raw. And now you're calling him Butch?
Yeah, this segment sucked balls.
The hat was fucking stupid as well. And when Pete Dunne actually came into view of the camera, his lip was trembling as well. And the last time his lip trembled was when he lost the UK Championship. And he was not fucking happy about that. So it shows how happy he is about this.
Bear in mind, though, who did he lose the UK Championship to?
Walter.
Yeah. Out those two things, which is the one you're going to be least happy about?
This name, probably.
Yeah. At least losing to Walter, do you understand it? It's acceptable.
Yeah. And after a very, very long title reign as well.
Yeah. This, however, was the longest in probably WWE. Well, it's definitely the longest in NXT UK history. I can tell you that much.
It was at the time. It's not anymore because Walter broke it last year.
Yeah, well, I personally don't count that because Walter didn't actually defend it.
No, not really.
I count Pete Dunne's more because Pete Dunne during that time actually defended the belt.
Bet.
So yeah, basically it sucked balls. Yeah.
Yeah, then we had a New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland segment. The stupid thing about Butch is he's smaller than both his teammates too. Yeah, they called him Butch. So, anyway, an okay match, but a shit distraction caused by Butch got Sheamus and Holland the win. During this match, Holland dropped Big E on his head, and medical had to be called immediately. Later, we found out that Big E has broken his neck.
Yeah, we kind of touched upon this at the start of the show, but Ridge Holland, stop trying to suplex people. You can't fucking do it, clearly.
Yeah, it's not a scrum. It's actually more of a throw.
Maybe that's why they called it Dunne, so they could teach fucking Holland how to do a fucking suplex.
If anybody should have done this suplex, I reckon Pete Dunne would have done a better job.
Or Sheamus. Because Sheamus has done that to people before, and he can do it safely.
Yeah.
The thing with the way Sheamus can fight, right? Sheamus looks like he hurts people, but he's safe.
Yeah.
Ridge Holland has the opposite problem. He looks safe, but he hurts people.
Yeah, speaking about safe, we then had a Stone Cold segment where he answered KO's challenge, and the answer was yes, and Austin wants a fight, apparently.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah. Then we had an IC title match recap where Ricochet became champ. That led to Sami Zayn segment losing it, and we learned about the IC title rematch. The cell number prank by Johnny Knoxville was funny. A total jackass move. And then we had something that was scheduled as Drew McIntyre and the Viking Raiders versus Madcap and Corbin and Jinder Mahal. And this never happened because Corbin's jumped the Raiders before they got out to the ring, and then the Four tried to jump McIntyre, but it failed. This only did one thing. This made the Viking Raiders look weak as fuck.
Well, actually, a couple of things. One, yeah, the Viking Raiders looked bad for this. Two, I fucking fell asleep listening to this. I fell asleep watching this. And I generally don't sleep that much, so that should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah. Then we had a Ronda Rousey recap of what happened last week. Then we had Ronda Rousey came out to the ring and gave Charlotte a message. Ronda Rousey acknowledged Kurt Angle and said she'd tap out Charlotte again with her ankle look at Mania. And of course, Charlotte came out and said she didn't tap her out last week. She was in a $5,000 suit. She won't at Mania either. And Ronda said she already tapped her and will again. And Charlotte walked away and said she's still champion. And Ronda said she'll tap her out there. She'll tap her out at Mania, whether she likes it or not. There was a recap of the start of the show, apparently. Lesnar had left the arena too, for some unknown reason.
What I want to know is why they're writing Ric Flair promos for Charlotte.
I don't know. Maybe because they've got the same people who wrote her dad's promos under contract?
They don't work for her, though.
Apparently they want them to, so they're going to force them as much as they can.
Yeah, and that works really well when you do that.
Yeah, not. Then we had a Naomi Sasha Banks versus Shayna Baszler and Natalya with Mella and Vega ringside. This was interesting, but Baszler and Natalya actually looked good as a team, to be honest, and it's not surprising because they both got a very good secure submission background. But a miscue by Carmella and Vega on a distraction cost Natalya and Baszler the match.
I would like to see more from Natalya and Baszler as a team. I'm with you. I think they look pretty decent. And yeah.
Got the Queen of Spades and the Queen of Hearts. Get a solitaire theme on it. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
The Usos had a segment apparently going to talk about their WrestleMania plans. They said nobody was left for them to face, and then all of a sudden Boogs and Nakamura came out and basically said, well, what about us? And we got a match out of this segment with a stipulation. Boogs versus Jey Uso. If Boogs won, they'd get their Mania match for the titles, and Boogs got the win. However, Jimmy Uso broke a guitar over Boogs' back while he was celebrating. So we're not sure whether or not this match is still going to happen.
Of course it's going to happen, because that's going to have done fuck all.
Yeah, especially being as the guitar broke before it actually hit Boogs.
Kind of
where
where I
they
was going.
slid it too far through.
Yeah, badly gimmicked is the term.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with gimmicking stuff, but get it right.
Guitars are a bit of a... especially the electric kind.
Yeah, my man here, musician. So, yeah.
I mean, I'll put it to you this way. I've carried a double bass from one side of Canterbury to the other for a gig.
And for those of you who obviously aren't familiar with that, Canterbury from side to side is probably at least 2-3 miles.
And I carried it on my shoulder and walked it because there was no case for the double bass.
And if you don't know how heavy a double bass is, try picking up a small wardrobe for the clothing.
And I had a bruise like this big from the neck of the double bass on my shoulder, like right across here, for 2 weeks.
I'm not surprised. That would have fucking hurt.
these instruments are built to fucking last.
Yeah.
So if you think that any wrestler is going to take a hard-ass shot from an actual, like, completely fine, completely brand new guitar, you're having a fucking laugh. There's always going to be like a tiny little cut in it to make it break easier. It's not obvious, but it's there. And it has to be done properly, because once you've sawn into a guitar, it snaps easy. But you don't want it to snap too easy, so you want that tiny little bit about this much.
Yeah. Bear in mind, obviously, we are talking about electric guitars here.
Yeah.
Acoustic guitars have been used in wrestling for years, and they are much easier to break on people.
Yeah, but the electric guitars, you want a little bit like this much sawed out of the neck, so that way it's got enough just to snap from impact alone.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any force behind it. It should literally just be whack, snap.
Yeah. It'd be, to put into terms which some people might understand better, it'd be the equivalent of taking a baseball bat and cutting halfway through it and then just going and tapping somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And the bat just will fall apart.
Yeah. So
it's dumb.
After this segment, what was even dumber was the fact that we got announced that Lesnar and Reigns will go face to face next week, when there's still 3 weeks until Mania. Are they going to do this segment every week leading up to the show?
I would like to tell you no, but we both know that's a lie.
By the time it gets to Mania, we're going to be bored. I'm halfway there already.
I already am bored.
Oh, I'm bored of WWE. I'm just a little bit less bored of this segment because I got to see Paul Heyman run this week.
It's always fun to watch Paul Heyman run because of the way he runs.
It is.
See, Heyman's entertaining because at least he's a decent promo, and when he runs, he's funny when he runs.
It's the most campest I've seen a straight guy run.
Yeah.
And I'm bisexual, so I've seen many.
Yeah, and although generally when gay men run, it's usually mincing. So.
Yeah. So, next we had Sami Zayn versus Ricochet for the IC title, the rematch. Hopefully this will be a better match than last week, is my comment in the column. Like, match-wise, because last week wasn't exactly great. One distraction ended it all for Zayn, and we had a new champion. Didn't look good for Ricochet, didn't exactly look good for Zayn either.
Nope.
But before this match could happen, Austin Theory came out and sat ringside. Not on commentary, just ringside. But as the match started, and the bell actually rang here. Don't know whether or not they edited it out or not, but it actually did ring. And Theory slapped Pat's headset off again, but Pat didn't take it this time, and Theory and McAfee actually went to blows. Even Cole was trying to talk McAfee out of it, but then McAfee was escorted out of the building, and security was by security, unfortunately. So we had to listen to Michael Cole riding solo on commentary for the match for the first time since Lawler had a heart attack, I think.
Yeah, and anyone who thinks this was Cole on his own is deluded. I guarantee you, there is someone in his ear.
Yeah, I mean, this was okay segment-wise. Unfortunately, like it was okay segment-wise, building up for McAfee and Theory, but it kind of makes me think that McAfee's going to be taken off commentary now for the next 3 weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see who's partnered with Cole. Probably Corey Graves. But yeah, unfortunately after this, the IC title match happened, and for some reason 5 minutes later we had a recap of what had happened between McAfee and Theory again, even though it basically just happened.
Yeah, because we're all goldfish, you see.
Yeah, we literally just seen it 5 minutes ago, and 5 minutes later, in the middle of an Intercontinental Championship main event match, we were shown it again.
Yeah, because apparently it's not important.
Yeah, it was like amnesia, and nobody cared about the title match. Just took away attention from this, and neither of these people deserve it. Sami Zayn and Ricochet don't deserve this. And like this match was better than last week's, and also Ricochet won again and retained his title, which personally I was happy to see. But at the same time, it was shit because of the layout of it. You're getting upstaged by Theory and McAfee, and then you're getting a recap of it in the middle of your match. What the fuck?
Yeah.
This was like Balor's United States Championship victory last week when he won the title. Priest decided then and there to turn heel. It just took away from Balor's moment, the same way as this is taken away from Ricochet and Sammy's moment. It was shit.
Well, it's come from the same creative mind brain, more than likely. So
yeah. And then before the show ended, because apparently that wasn't the main event, there was a main segment instead, where Ronda Rousey and Charlotte were fighting backstage on top of a car and on the floor and side by side. And Charlotte walked away on top after suplexing Ronda onto a car and putting her in some kind of, I don't. It was a submission of some kind. It kind of looked like Miro's old submission.
What, a camel clutch?
No, the one that he used in WWE.
Yeah, it's a camel clutch.
Yeah, it was a camel clutch on top of a car hood.
Yeah, it's a camel clutch where you put the two arms over the knees and you hold them around the chin. Yeah.
Yeah, it said there was no arms over the knees. It was just a straight clutch.
Well, that's just a chin lock.
Oh, okay. Well, it was a chin lock on top of a carbonic because apparently that's so deadly.
Because literally, if you're just laying like this and if you've got your hands underneath their head and you're just putting back and you're sat on top of them and you haven't got the arms on top, that's just a reverse chin lock.
Yeah, but there was no tap out from Charlotte Flair, so her promise was just empty.
You mean from Ronda?
Yeah, there was no tap from Ronda, so it was an empty promise from Charlotte.
Yeah,
but she did walk away, whereas Ronda was left laying on the floor. So,
oh no.
Oh no! Look at the little baby. Aren't you cute? Where's your mommy? Well, I know where her daddy is, but
I think everyone knows where her daddy is, but that's another thing entirely. He's doing podcasts with Mark Madden.
Yes.
So, amongst other things. But anyway, that's the end of SmackDown, which brings us to the end of the week for WWE. Aaron's thinking, thank fuck for that. You do, however. Yeah, there you go. You have to give it a rating. There you go.
Wait, what? No, what the fuck? No, I didn't give it a 5.
You put your hands up. You put 5. You said 5.
No, I gave it a 3. I don't know why I gave it a 5. I need to go to the bathroom.
You're thinking of a number 1 or a number 2, I'm guessing. Yeah, so that's this week in WWE. So, ooh, what fun! I mean, you guys let us know what you thought about what happened, and then we'll go from there. But it was not a good week. A lot of very bad and subpar stuff. But that's just how it's going to be, I think. Oh, good fun. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. All kinds of fun going on here, people. Do, 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 do.
Quick, you little bastard. Get off my chair. Yo.
Let's see.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm sorry, I had to yeet a kitten.
That's all right.
Yeah, because he pooed indoors.
Well, I think Charlie's a bit too old to be doing that, don't you?
That's why it said kitten.
Was
It was
joking.
Target.
I was joking, by the way. Kind of knew who you meant.
Mm-hmm. So what's the ruckus?
Not much really. It's just a case of just what's going on here with all the fun stuff. So I was just checking out. I was literally checking out some stuff until you got back. So, but now you're back. Of course, WWE stuff obviously is all ended. People say this is pretty much after show, which means we can talk about whatever the fuck we like now. So there you go. So, yeah. Out of his mouth full of food. Aaron, of course, has been preparing for his subathon, which will take place coming up soon.
Thursday.
Yeah. So you guys can check that out on Twitch.
Yeah, it should be interesting. My friend did a subathon and it lasted 6 days.
Wow.
I'm not joking. He had to sleep on stream and everything.
You know you're actually not allowed to do that on Twitch.
You are partnered.
It's in the T's and C's. You're not supposed to do it. It doesn't matter if you're partnered or not. You're actually not supposed to do it at all.
No, he didn't get told off for it.
Clearly not, but that's a no-no. It's one of the things you're not supposed to do.
Mm.
Not that I give a shit, but still. There's a whole bunch of things you're supposed to follow when you stream on Twitch, and nobody adheres to them, as far as I can tell.
No.
Mind you, what you expect? It's run by a company who doesn't give a shit about anything, so...
I mean, you're not supposed to be nude on stream.
Nope.
But you can totally do a hot tub stream in a bikini.
And people do. I know. Yeah, I know people do. I've not seen them, but I do know they happen. Other people tell me they happen, so... And for people thinking, oh, you can say, no, I don't have the time for that. Jesus, I've got better things to do with my time.
And you wouldn't look as good in a bikini. No offense.
No, I mean watching them. God, no, I'd never wear a fucking bikini. I'd never appear on a fucking in a hot tub on a stream either.
Yeah.
That's your job out of the two of us. I ain't fucking doing it.
No thanks.
Well, the two of us, you're the one who's more likely to do it.
That would have to be a lot of donations.
That's my point. There is no donation big enough that would make me do it. That's my point.
I wouldn't be able to find a hot tub to do it, and I'd probably end up having to get like one of those little kiddie pools and have somebody standing on the fucking tire pump.
You'd probably have to get in the fucking sea and do it.
You just broke up there.
You'd probably have to get into the fucking sea and do it.
Screw that.
What? It's close enough for you to do it.
It's close enough. It's fucking freezing. I spent my childhood in the sea. I don't want to carry on with that.
There's a joke here about you being Ariel the Little Mermaid because you've got red hair.
I know, I kind of walked into that one.
Yeah.
Under the sea.
So, yes, so Aaron's going to be the subathon on Thursday, so you guys can check that. I'm assuming that means there's probably no stream on Wednesday because of that.
No, I'm streaming Wednesday.
Oh, okay, so you're doing 4 streams this week.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be one tomorrow, there'll be one Wednesday, one Thursday, and then one on Saturday.
And possibly Friday as well, depending on how long they keep me on the subathon.
So yeah, keep an eye on Aaron's socials for that one, because I'm sure that's where he'll let you know. Or obviously, if you catch him in the streams, I imagine he can probably tell you then as well.
And of course, all proceeds go to SANS.
Yeah.
Miscarriage, neonatal death, and stillbirth awareness charity.
Yeah. None of these proceeds go towards getting Aaron back his fishtail so we can go back to the sea.
No. The only thing that does go towards anything to do with me is my merch, and that's all going towards my wedding at the moment. So,
No, You should say you should say me and Kaylee's wedding, not my wedding, because.
Yeah, but not everybody knows Kaylee, so it's just.
Well, technically, you should actually say it's towards Kaylee's wedding, because let's face it, it's always the bride's day.
Yeah, true.
I know that probably better than most people. So, but there you go. Aaron staring intently at the screen, clearly trying to work out what's actually going on. Funny part is we managed to review everything and get that stuff done. It's not even 10 o'clock yet our time, so we've done pretty well there.
Yeah, we have.
So, yay for us. But should we talk about the thing we actually enjoy watching?
We can do.
Yeah. AEW. So, the thing I liked most of Dynamite was Regal. Because I just do. Hi, Bruce.
Puppy. Yeah.
The thing is, he does that, but he's probably still the best behaved animal in that house.
Not including me? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, technically, you're a human, so you don't count.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Yeah. So.
He's wearing his jacket again.
Yeah, he's the gentleman around town, isn't he? Suave and sophisticated.
He was a man of quality.
A doggy of distinction. A real big eater.
Paws above the rest.
Exactly. And doggone it, everyone likes him.
Yeah. Always getting a push. Usually it's off the sofa, like so.
By you, yeah. That's the thing. People have to be careful about asking for their pushes, because sometimes they'll get somebody like you who just push them off the sofa.
Or Cliff.
That depends on the person.
Just depends what mood I'm into, I guess.
True. Very true. So what was your favourite part of Dynamite then?
It definitely wasn't Hardy making his debut, because it was terrible.
I've got some comments about that, which you may find interesting. Okay. This may make you think twice about that. Right? Obviously, Matt Hardy's been beaten up, right? Sting and Darby come out to help him, right?
They get overwhelmed.
Right? So Jeff comes out to help his brother. Instead of heading straight to the ring, he's fucking doing this.
Yeah.
It's like he's been watching Half-Truth's old wrestling things and decided to do a dance break before he starts to do anything.
I mean, it makes sense that Hardy and Hardy, Sting, and Matt team up, because Hardy's had history with Sting in TNA.
Some bad history too, Jeff. Bro.
But I'll be interested to see how Darby fits into this.
Yeah, that could be interesting. He might get a bit jealous of the fact that his goth dad's got some new kiddies to play with. So Matt and Jeff Well, the idea of Matt and Jeff being together, I think, is more interesting because as a tag team, as to some of the teams they could have matches against.
Yeah. I saw a interview from the Hardys, and this is going to be their final run, apparently.
I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, if you look at both
AEW, they're not doing anymore.
I'm not surprised. If you look at both of them, they're pretty much, they're at that point.
They both look in incredible shape.
They do, but you can kind of tell by looking at them. This is it.
Yeah.
I thought them to... Sorry, go on.
It's like some of the bumps that they take and some of the stuff that they do, they don't do as well as what they used to in ring as well.
Yeah, it's also particularly when you look at Jess Swanton. Once upon a time, he barely touched you. Nowadays, he fucking lands straight on you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm glad they're going to get to have one last run together and go out that way because I think that's ideally what they should have got.
Yeah. I keep on forgetting which one's the younger one out of the two.
Jeff.
Yeah, I thought it was.
There's not a lot in it, but it's Jeff.
Mm.
I think it's literally like a couple of years. I don't think there's a big difference between them at all.
Because like the whole of their careers, they've never really focused on the Hardys' age, so they've just always seemed like kind of immortal in a way to, I guess, us as fans.
Well, I have something fun to tell you. Jeff Hardy actually made his wrestling debut when he was underage.
I know.
It's always kind of funny.
It does actually kind of make you think. So like some of these wrestlers these days are starting at like 18, 19 in like WWE developmental.
Yeah.
Tyler Bate being one of them because he was only, I think he was 20 when he won the NXT UK Championship.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the youngest ever champions in WWE history.
Yeah.
And he held the title quite well. But then it was the inexperience that kind of got him. And then, of course, Pete Dunne took over.
Yeah. For those of you who are interested, by the way, there is 3 years between Matt and Jeff.
How old's Pete Dunne?
So, just so you know, Matt is 47 and Jeff is 44.
So I imagine he's in his 20s because
28.
He's 28, so he's 4 years older than Tyler Bate.
Yeah.
And yeah, so because Tyler Bate, for those of you who are interested, is the same age as me. He's 25 this year.
Let's just check that to make sure Aaron's not making stuff up because he does.
He was the same, we was 20. He was 20 when he won the UK Championship.
He's turned 25. His birthday's actually at the beginning of March.
Yeah, I knew he was born in March. I just didn't know which day. So
it's the 7th for future reference.
Yeah, he's 10 days older than me.
Yeah,
bastard.
Anybody else's but age you want me to check while I'm doing it?
Go on, while we're here, because I know you like Mustache Mountain and British Strong Style, let's check Trent Sevens.
Okay. He's actually 40.
What?
Yeah. Trent Seven is 40 years old. I was going to say, he looks younger than he is. Yeah. Exactly.
You broke up.
I said, yeah, exactly.
You broke up, then I didn't hear anything that you said.
Exactly.
Yeah, he does look very good for 40.
So yeah,
He's been wrestling for quite a long time as well.
that I can actually tell you. 2010 as his first. Thing.
10 years.
He made it. Yeah, but he actually debuted very late in age. He was 29.
Yeah.
So
it was in the no, it wasn't. It wasn't in NXT UK because NXT wasn't a thing back. NXT UK wasn't a thing back then.
no, I actually know where he debuted because I've got it searched right in front of me.
Independence. So no, I think it was Independence.
It's an independent company, yeah.
Yeah.
If you guess what it is, I would be kind of impressed because it's not that well known.
Now you're making me think. If
it helps, it was in Birmingham.
I'm not sure that I know. I can think of one.
Okay.
RPW, I want to say?
No.
No.
No. It's a good guess, but no. In all honesty, I'll be amazed if you guess it.
Is it an English?
Sorry?
American.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Is it in the States or is it America or is it UK?
No, it was here. It was in Birmingham.
I can only think of one, like, was back then. Alternate Wrestling World Championships or something. AWW.
Do you know what it stands for?
What?
What the initials stand for?
What, AWW?
Yeah.
Alternate Wrestling World, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
Was that it? Was that where he debuted?
That's it, yeah.
Because I know Pete Dunne worked there too, I think.
Yeah, it mentions that here. Also explains the origin of his ring name as well.
Yeah, the River Seven.
No.
No.
It's a misconception. It actually comes from the company that supplies water to the area that he lived in growing up.
Oh, you learn something new.
Yeah, because literally, the company that supplies water to that part of the world is Severn Trent. So just swap the names around and removed an R. That's pretty much it.
So, I know he was in TNA for a bit as well because he was like a world champion, I think, at some point.
Not in TNA, it wasn't.
No, not in TNA, but he was a champion. I just can't remember.
American companies he did work for was Shikara and Combat Zone Wrestling.
Yeah. That was very early. That was like 2011, I think.
Yeah, Combat Zone Wrestling is one of the earlier things he did.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't know if a Combat Zone Wrestling is still a thing.
I can tell you in a sec. Let's see. Yeah, according to this, it's still a thing. The last major thing I know is an angle between them and GCW. Which involved Nick Gage.
Fair enough.
So there you go.
Ooh, well, that was a nice little history lesson of Trent Seven.
Well, I have a fun one for you. What film has he appeared in?
Film?
He's been in a film.
Fighting with My Family?
No, I mean an actual film.
Ouch. I don't know. I didn't know he was in a film.
He's in Transformers: The Last Night.
I haven't seen it.
He's in it. And because what that is before he decided to become a wrestler when he was younger, he wanted to be an actor. So I think it's something to do with that. So, but yeah, it's the only film. It's the only film he's actually in. But yeah, he appears under his real name, which would also throw people off as well because he's not billed as being Trent Seven in the film.
Yeah.
He's billed under his real name, which is.
Crying out loud. Ben Webb?
Ooh, well done. I mean, it's Benjamin, but I'll give you Ben.
Do you know his middle name?
Morris.
Maurice.
Ed Morris, I don't give a shit.
But his initials always made me laugh because it's BMW.
With initials like that, it should be Walter.
Yeah.
Speaking of which. Funny part is, right, I looked him up and I had to use Walter rather than the name they've renamed him to.
Yeah.
He wouldn't come up as the other name.
Yeah, the interesting thing about his tag partner Tyler Bate, though, his wrestling name is the same as his real name. It's Tyler Bate.
Yeah, some people, it's a rare occasion, but some wrestlers, that is just what they are.
Be interesting to see what they name Tyler when he goes up to main roster, if and when.
Do you know how old Walter is, by the way?
36?
You're not far off.
38.
You're going the wrong way.
Oh, 34.
There you go. Do you want to hear some of his other ring names?
Gunter.
Well, you know that one, obviously. Do you want to hear the rest of them?
Sure.
Big Daddy Walter. Big Van Walter. Gachar Ping. Walter Hain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting thing though. Trent Seven obviously has trained Tyler Bate, but do you know who else trained him as well?
What, Tyler Bate?
Yeah, don't Google it. I'm asking just if you know out of interest.
I didn't Google it because I'm assuming it's another NXT UK person more than likely. So
think Black Country.
It'd be Mastiff then.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the only one I can think of.
Trent Seven.
It's the only one I could think of from that country other than Seven. So
because all three of them actually wrestled together before as Pete Dunne, and they were the Black Country faction, I believe.
I can check that.
I don't think it will be online at all.
To be honest, I wouldn't have a problem believing that because it makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows they did team together, but it doesn't say the name. But I'm inclined to believe you because it's not worth lying about, for starters. Oh, let's look up your favorite tag team.
I was just thinking about Jordan Devlin because obviously he was trained by Finn Balor.
Okay, let's look at Jordan.
But I think he's also trained by the same guy who trained Finn Balor. I think he's trained by Paul Tracy as well.
You are correct.
And I think Devlin was 30 he was 31 last year. I believe his birthday's like a couple of days before or after mine as well.
It's in 2 days' time.
Yeah, it's 15th.
Yeah.
And he'd be 32.
You would be correct because he's currently 31.
Yeah. He died in 2006.
Well, he's another one, according to this. Wrestles under his actual name.
Yep. He's also the longest reigning cruiserweight champion in modern WWE history.
Yeah, it says that here.
He had the title through the pandemic.
Yes, it's the same reason why I don't really count. Yeah, it's the same reason I don't count Walters, because for that exact same reason.
Yeah, he used to wrestle under the name Frank David in the independent scene.
Yeah, Angulia Patois.
Yeah, some French ones. Because he speaks like 2 or 3 different languages.
And Angular too, so yeah, it makes sense. Doesn't say anything about him being bilingual, but a lot of wrestlers are, so it wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah. He spent like the first, I think it was like at least, it might have been nearly a year, but I think it was like, I want to say 8 months in Japan training with Finn Balor.
It says 6 here, but.
Yeah. He was only 21 when he did that. So obviously, like when he debuted.
It says that here too. So it's good. Must be good to know that your memory's pretty much spot on there.
It is when it comes to certain things, but other things it's just. Do you think I've been watching wrestling for like a long ass time, like pre-assault, so some of the stuff that I used to like Google and shit just kind of sunk in.
Okay,
but then
I have one for you.
Just like memory shit.
I have one for you. How old is Balor?
I want to say he's close to 40. I don't think he's 40 yet, but I'm going to say 40.
He's exactly 40. He'll be 41 this year.
Yeah, I remember his birthday posts last year, and I knew it was an important birthday. But I didn't think he was 40.
Yeah,
It's a bit hard to believe.
His birthday's in July.
Do you know what his real name is?
Fergal Devitt. And I know that without looking.
And of course, he's in a relationship with Vero Rodriguez, I believe her name is.
They're married.
Very pretty.
They're actually married.
No. Yeah, they got married in 2019.
Yep. What it says about her, because they do have some details about her here, is let's see. Let's find her. Vera Rodriguez. Born in Mexico City. She's 34. She's worked for Fox.
Yeah.
Tell you think you know there.
She identifies as get more push.
Yeah, she identifies as a feminist.
Nice.
So yeah,
I know Balor was trained by Johnny Moss and a couple of other people out of the New Japan dojo, I believe.
I can find that out.
And of course, he's like original leader of the Bullet Club as well.
He's the founder of the Bullet Club, to be more precise. Not his first training though. Where was he first trained? Do you know?
His first trained.
Yeah. Where he first trained.
What I said, his first trainer.
No, where he first trained.
Not the person.
Yeah, not the person, the place. Because he was first trained at an actual wrestling company. Do you know who it was? Because I actually know this. Before I even checked it, I actually knew what it was.
I thought it's a company and it's got like a wrestling move in it or something, like chin lock.
You're right about that. It's a wrestling company. It's a company's got a wrestling name. Yeah.
It's not chin lock. Hammerlock.
There you go, Hammerlock.
I want to say Hammerlock.
There's Hammerlock.
Yeah, there's a NWA, I think. NWA Hammerlock, something like that.
As it would have been at the time, yes. It's before the NWA terminated their agreement.
Obviously, it's not open. Yeah.
Well, the NWA is very different now, so the agreement was terminated anyway, so it wouldn't be called that now anyway.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're right about Hammerlock though, because I've got it doesn't let me as you look it up, so that's kind of telling. So, but
Yeah. No,
would it surprise?
I laughed
Would
the
it
other
su-
day when I found out that Eddie Dennis is actually 35.
would it surprise you to know that Finn Balor lost the British Commonwealth Championship, right, in March 2006? Would you like to guess who it was to? It's a funny answer when you bear in mind what would happen not
William
long
Reed.
afterwards.
I don't know.
Carl Anderson.
Yeah, well, there you
And
go.
this is literally not that long before they both end up in Japan.
Yeah. Friends who bleed together stay together.
So,
Oh, a weird thing about NXT UK. I don't know anything about Rampage. Like, at all. So I don't know whether or not he's injured or just not doing his thing anymore.
So where are we going then? Oh, excuse me. Do you think men think with their penis?
I think so, yes.
You do? Well, in that case, can you blow my mind? Hello, excuse me. Can you hold this for me?
According to this, he's okay. He's just not on television at the moment. So I love his real name, by the way.
Was a paladin who not only
But-
successfully hit his opponent, but just absolutely obliterated them. Yeah, you can't sit there and tell me that.
It's all good
was
fun.
not true.
Anyway, we should probably let all the people go so they don't have to listen to the rest of this stuff. So
But just absolutely obliterated them.
you guys check out Aaron's streams tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. If you catch him on Thursday, it's his birthday. Wish him happy birthday. And then Saturday.
Yep.
So that one, people. See you later.
I can't 11.